I'm gonna be breaking down exactly how I think when I'm making stuff quickly. So you've seen me doing these 30-minute beat challenges lately, right? I've been trying to do the most every day. But I've just been kind of doing them. Just straight, no talking, no explanations. You just see me make a bunch of stuff, and sometimes it doesn't really make sense. So I'm gonna explain the one I made recently. It's the Lo-Fi beat one, if anybody's wondering. Here I start off with the piano. Right? There's my melody, plus chords. Thankfully, since I'm making this with the piano, the left hand kind of supports the melody and thus comes out the chords. So it's a lot quicker than it usually is. Another big thing that I feel like helps me work really quick is the fact that I loop stuff. What do I mean by that? So, to be frank, what I'm actually playing only consists of 9 bars. So, from here, my mouse is to here. That's how much I play. After that, it just gets looped over and over again, perfectly. That's this pink bar. It loops it perfectly. And I can just drag it for infinity and beyond. I can just drag this forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and it'll loop forever. So that helps you work a lot quicker than just, having to play this for like a certain duration. Okay, so the next part I go with after melody and chords, because that happened all in this piano section, is the bass. The bass just outlines the chords, and because I don't have a really good electric bass sound, I use an upright bass because it sounds really cool. This is that. And then once again, copy and paste. Forever and ever, so I don't have to play it over and over again. Very convenient. Now, what does that sound like together is what you're wondering, right? So I'm wondering that right now. Together. Next part I add is a counter melody. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just another melody on top of my main melody. So I add 2 of those. So here's one of them. It sounds pretty good, right? But then what I decided is that it kind of sounds empty. So when stuff sounds empty, what I tend to do is I add pads. What a pad is, it's a sound that that's not too sharp, but it sounds wide, if that makes sense. And it takes up a lot of space. And it makes everything feel very filled. So I'll show you an example of a pad. This is an example of a pad. Sorry about that. Just want to solo it so you guys can hear. This is what a pad would sound like, right? And then if you combine it with everything else, it makes the sound more full. And in this case, this pad sounds really warm, so I really enjoyed that sound. But then I was like, oh, this doesn't sound warm enough for me. So I added another pad on top of this pad, which is called layering. It's when you take a sound that, when you take a melody or certain notes that you're already playing the same thing of, but it's another instrument playing the same notes. That's what I did here. So these two right here are both pads, but this pad sounds different. I'll show you that. That's this pad, and the second pad's like this. See how they're like slightly different, right? But when they're combined together, it sounds really good. And I'll show you that. Like this. You see how it sounds really full and takes up a lot of space, which is good. Then I'm like, I want even more space. You know, I want to take even more space because I feel like lo-fi is just a lot about it's more about, what's the word in English? It's more about the vibe you create, I guess, than it is the complexity of the music. So if you want to create a nice cozy feeling, I'm feeling that I need to add more warmth, more space. I need to fill more space. Alright, so I added this electric piano. Right? This electric piano, I took out the high end, and what that does, and it makes the sound more bass heavy, which also translates to becoming warmer. That's what I did here. And then all combined, all of these three combined create a really warm sound. I'm gonna play that for you. Combination. Now you're feeling the lo-fi, you're feeling cozy, feeling good. What comes after is what you're asking, right? Where's the drums? What everybody cares about. The drums actually comes like usually last for me, because I need to hear everything else come together to make the drums. I can't start with drums first. So I always start with hi-hat first because it's the easiest. Just playing every 8th note. Simple. Something I do is I always take the hi-hats a little bit off the grid, and what that does, it makes the hi-hat sound more human rather than it sounding like automated, kind of like a metronome. It sounds like a human's actually playing the hi-hat. That's why I take it off the grid a little bit. After hi-hats comes a clap or snare. And then if I don't like how the snare sounds, or I think it needs to sound a little more sharper in this case, add another clap or snare with it. This is also called layering, remember? Same sound, but being played at the same time, and it's a different sample. So this is what the drums sound like all together. Obviously I had a kick, blah blah blah, but this is what it sounds like all together. Drums is really simple. Really simple. Last thing I add is foley. This is something I really wanted to talk about. I feel like it's really important. Foley really adds to the atmosphere of your song. So for this, I used a tape hiss noise, VCR tape hiss sound. And it just sounds like static. It just sounds like static throughout the song. And you might think, this doesn't really make a difference, but it makes a huge difference when you're making music that I usually neglect. And I sometimes forget how much of a huge difference it makes. But it does. So I added that. I add a click at the beginning and at the end to make it sound like the song's actually ending. And finally, I added this chime effect. To transition into the drums. So I'll show you what that sounds like. See how those, it sounds a lot more frictionless. It's a new word. When transitioning to this part rather than just going straight through the drums. It's a nice little touch. And yeah, that's about it. That's the whole beat. And what it sounds like in total, you guys can check it out. I'll probably put it at the end, like around here. You guys can listen to it. But if you guys enjoy this type of content, let me know by, like, you know, commenting or liking the video, and subscribe if you really enjoy this type of content, and hope to see you on the channel more often. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.